Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
SDP The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Guys, I figured I'd start the show with breaking news.
Yeah?
This is breaking news from Hannah in my DMs.
Damn.
Hannah said, I was listening to the new podcast, and I need you to know that Lion King 2, Kovu, is not Scar's son. Because I was incorrect. I said Scar's son comes in, and he's like, he's got a scar as well, and he's trying to take over.
You dummy.
Kovu is not Scar's son. He was just chosen to be one of Scar's heirs. Disney drew the line at incest because that would have meant that Kiara and Kovu, who ended up together at the end of the movie, were cousins. She said, I'm sorry, I feel very strongly about this movie, and I had to pause the podcast to let you know. That is from Hannah.
Why? Nothing is just simple.
No.
Eh?
No.
Here is movie about lions.
Right. But when they made Lion King 2, they should have made the villain bad. But they're like, oh, no, we're going to convert him, and he's going to be good.
No.
That sucks. That's a cop-out.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Zombie Scar.
I'm into it.
They should have brought him back.
I'm into it.
Lion King Undead Nightmare.
I love that. It's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I'd watch it.
I would watch that. Jesse, are you in?
I'm going to pass on that one. I got a Succession to watch, so I think I'll pass on Lion King.
Get behind me, Ellie. Have you seen any of The Last of Us? Have you watched any of that?
The Last of Us?
Yeah.
He said Succession.
I know, but that's another show, and it had to do with zombies. Keep up,
you're
guys.
just doing your own thing. You're running ISO.
Yeah. It's the other big. Hi guys, it's the other big show out right now, and it's about zombies, which we're talking
yeah.
about.
Steve and Jesse.
It's not even on air.
It's great that you guys are talking about that, but what about this?
What about the thing I want to talk about?
Adam, what was your favorite episode of The Last of Us?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so anyway, Succession. You haven't fucking seen it?
No, is it good?
Yes.
Oh,
That's what I was going to ask.
gosh.
Do you like it?
Yes.
How much do you like it?
I don't know about mass cultural phenomenon like it, but I like it.
Okay, now did you play the video game?
No.
Okay. I think that's part of it, right? People like the video game and they want to see how similar it is and how true to the game did you stay.
I hate zombie games. They make me very scared. I don't like them.
Yeah.
And then so I was watching it and I'm like, ooh.
Have you ever been
this is
scared
much
by a video
better.
game?
Like, genuinely scared by a video game?
Yeah.
No. I just know that, like, in Halo, when the flood comes, I don't like it.
Jesse, what about you? Ever scared? Do you get scared by anything?
scared by a video game.
Or
Not
like even
really.
a movie? Do you get scared by
didn't-
movies?
Yeah, movies have been scary. What are you talking about?
What movies? What movies have scared you?
Scary movies.
You've never seen The Brave Little Toaster?
You know
that
what's
is
better
scary.
than a scary movie? A psychological thriller. Like The Departed. Like The Departed is fucking fantastic.
There's a lot of tension in The
That's
Departed.
better than jump scares. You know,
Okay.
like jump scares they're easy, you know, but I like a good psychological thriller, and it's like, oh, this is kind of spooky. Best horror thing I've seen lately, House of Bly Manor. Did you guys ever watch that on Netflix?
Maddie emphatically
Oh, yeah.
pointed.
That's the one. They have 2 seasons of that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's the House of Bly Manor, and then the Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting Hill House is the first one.
Hill House is season 1. Bly Manor is season 2. Both seasons, one of my favorite 2 seasons of television.
See, I never
Fantastic.
finished the first one, so I don't know what happens, and I just was confused.
It's so good.
Okay, I guess you're supposed to be
That's all I want
confused.
to talk about, but it's big spoilers.
I don't watch those because I like feeling safe.
There were some really good seasons early on of American Horror Story as well, because
I always thought that show was so stupid.
But American Horror Story isn't afraid to be like, okay, everybody loses. That's why.
Yeah, I
that's
like
why
that.
the ending of the seasons of it would be like eight episodes of the anthology series or whatever. But they wouldn't be afraid to be like, okay, all the good guys are just gonna die.
The one where they're in the mental institution
Yeah.
from 7 years ago when those places, that is a good one. But there's one with like an alien shows up and you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like I watched this whole thing and it's like It's like blah 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 blah. Normal storyline, tension building. Aliens. The whole story's gone.
So with them, they got to the point where the same thing happened with Riverdale, where they became kind of a parody of themselves. I don't know if you guys.
Riverdale is so
Riverdale.
stupid.
Riverdale's a comedy
the
now.
Stupidest show I've ever seen. It's so, and I have to watch every episode because I want to know how stupid it's going to be.
I know Fisher's in the building today. He better not be in earshot.
It's stupid.
He loves Riverdale.
No,
It became
not genuinely though.
Steve, it became
know.
a freaking musical.
Yeah.
They started doing musical numbers.
Oh, I didn't know that. I assume he doesn't like that. I think he liked the first one.
Oh, man. Sorry.
There's
What-
been an
no, Riverdale.
overcorrection.
What'd you like? Well, the first season, because it's like a murder mystery, right?
First season was fun. First season was a phenomenon. Like it took over the first couple of seasons of Riverdale, and then became a parody of itself. And American Horror Story went down that same route, where it's like, okay, we're 6 seasons in, we
gotta make more money.
We ran out of all of our good ideas.
Yeah.
let's push it to see how far we can take this.
And Jughead's an alcoholic now. and
Jughead?
well, because it's about the Archie comics.
Yeah,
That's what Riverdale is. It's based on those characters.
and they lost the plot so long.
Oh my
ago.
god! Well, and they also have this scene, and every once in a while it pops up on my TikTok, and I always watch it. It's the one where it's like you've never experienced a team or whatever, and they're like in the army, and then he's talking about you've never experienced brotherhood. And then he's talking about his high school football team, and it's just the dumbest thing you've ever seen. It's dumb. You should watch it.
And no, what do you want?
No, it's fine. You guys are going off.
I can go on forever about this shit. Like, because like watching Succession coming back and all the actors from Succession doing interviews and promoting the show.
Yeah.
You realize so much of the characters in Succession are just kind of themselves in a heavier version, like Macaulay Culkin's brother,
Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin and Jeremy Strong, like they are their characters except on the show. And seeing Cold Sprouts do the Call Her Daddy interview and the amount of douchebag that radiates
Just
from him,
smoking and
you understand
what is this?
how this guy could do that shit show.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's so funny to see. Anyway,
Oh man.
we could do
By the
a
way,
whole podcast on that.
I love Succession because it's every company I've ever worked for at the top.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that show. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I haven't made that observation.
Well, not maybe.
No,
You haven't made that observation?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well,
The zoo was a nice place.
government run.
I did like it at the
government
zoo.
You
run.
love your employer.
Yes,
And they are excellent.
as does everyone. There was what I was going to say like 19 shows ago in the discussion. There's been an overcorrection where everything was a happy ending, and then like the Rebel shows came out, and they're like, no. There is no happy ending. It doesn't have to be a sad ending, but it's just the ending, and people are like, oh, it's better because you don't see it coming. And now every show is just depressing, no payoff. You're depressed. Go about your day. Fuck you. Thanks for investing the last 24 hours of your life in binge watching this show. No payoff. Go fuck yourself.
Heavy spoiler here on White Lotus season 2.
Whoa.
I was a little disappointed when she died in White Lotus because I was like, okay, we went through all this and now that's the end of her story.
That means one of the women characters dies?
Wow, I can't believe he gave away a show that was released 6 months ago. What a
What?
jerk. I've been saving that one on my DVR.
Okay, so that's another new thing. Spoilers used to be like so sacred, and it used to take like forever for a movie to go from like theaters to your house, for example. Because for a movie to go from theaters to Markville Video, for example, by our house,
you'd have like a 6-month wait period.
6-month wait period because they had to like manufacture the VHS tapes.
And also they wanted to sell them at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
This guy
That was
knows
always
how
the
things
This guy
work.
knows.
It's the
Release
Black
in the
Friday
summer, sell it
sales.
out at VHS at Christmas.
You're very good at mundane details.
I know. I'm a
It's
mundane kind of guy.
No, but like mundane details that paint a picture.
Oh, okay.
Like,
That's good.
I shouldn't. Banal.
This isn't getting better.
No, sorry. Boring. Fucking stupid. Goofy nonsense. Anyway,
What was the point?
but now it's like if you don't watch a show, the
Yeah.
Maybe within 72 hours of it coming out,
Yeah.
they're like, well, you can't fucking expect me to keep it to myself.
Because like these shows come out and there's like 6 podcasts about it. There's 18 articles. There's a Twitter thread
A reaction.
about it. Yeah,
I figured out.
Here's why it's problematic.
I figured out why The Last of Us.
There's spoilers.
I figured out why The Last of Us didn't really do it for me. Because I ended up watching a shitload of spoilers on TikTok. Like, not my fault.
Yeah.
Like, they just show up.
No, that's gonna ruin a show for you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
like there was a Star Wars. I'm a couple episodes behind on The Mandalorian, and you know how much I love Star Wars. But I know that a certain character arrives on the show from one of the other shows that was supposed to be a big surprise, and it's like a cool thing that he's there. And I was like, that kind of sucks that I know, but I don't know why he's there. So I can live with that.
When like that happens to me in those instances, I find myself watching the show just waiting for that moment, and I kind of lose everything else that's happening. So that's why spoilers really ruin it for me. I don't know about you.
Well, you know what? I gotta be straight with you. I feel like you get a week. If it's your supposed favorite show, you should get a week. You get a week. No one should talk shit, and then all bets are off. But with Star Wars, the weird nerds that like Star Wars, and believe me when I tell you, weird fucking nerds, they have to have a blog on why it's complete shit and why they hated it the next day. Everything with Star Wars fans are, we talk about how sometimes like hockey fans could be a bit toxic or whatever. Star Wars fans might be the worst fans on the planet. They might be the worst, and I am one of them.
Adam,
they're terrible.
You are opening up a can of worms.
Terrible. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know.
Star Wars fans make professional wrestling fans seem agreeable.
Absolutely, and they forget.
I say that as a pro wrestling.
Do you know what Star Wars is?
A movie about pew pew.
Kids movie.
It's a kids movie. Yeah. Thank you. The target demographic was 12 when they came out. George Lucas.
What number?
It was good for 12. George Lucas went to what's Steven Spielberg right after he made the first movie in 1977. They'd shot it all and they were editing, and Spielberg said, "Well, you finally got this project done. Like, how do you feel?" And Lucas like, "I don't know. I think it's just a bad kids movie." That's what he thought about A New Hope.
That's so not mundane.
Maybe more in the
It was very interesting.
banal.
There's banal. It was just really banal.
No, I call it what it is. Boring ass shit.
Hey, you got anything else?
I got banal shit.
Put my mic here. And that way I don't have to fucking pick it up.
Wow.
Jesse and I will have a nice conversation.
Good friends.
Do I get now my 30 minutes on talking about Cabin in the Woods, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh,
Cabin
did you
in the Woods.
Tell us what you want to tell us. Spoiler alerts. Go.
I need 30 minutes.
You need 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, is it? Can you answer this in a sentence? Is it good?
Yes.
No.
It is.
That pauses everything.
No, I didn't want to give too many.
Is it? And again,
words.
you said yes. It's enjoyable. Okay, that's a sentence. The next one. Mm-hmm. Is it worth the time spent watching?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
For an M. Night Shyamalan, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Because he would that one hit. He's like the Jose Canseco of directors. One big hit and 40 misses.
He took steroids and then was really proud about how he cheated.
And took a baseball off the head and it went on to be a home run.
And then oh my God.
He's got a jack-o'-lantern on a neck.
He took steroids and was really proud about it. Oh my God. All right. What I do want to do, the other thing I want to follow up on, Steve just showed me this clip before the show and I missed it because of the move. But Jesse, you have it in your text message inbox. Yes, set it up. Because we were talking about the Jets last episode.
So we were talking about the Jets and Brady from Game Over Winnipeg. Bless him. We were talking.
He's having a bad time right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, he lost to me in the semifinals of our fantasy.
Oh, that sucks.
After finishing first in the regular season. Get wrecked, Brady! But we were on headset together playing Chell poorly. And he goes, Steve, can I just say something? I go, oh boy, what's coming? You gonna talk about the glare? Mm-hmm. Is it the glare? Jesse, where are we at on the glare? So he goes, you guys were like, all right, we're gonna dig into the Jets. And Brady, being a Jets fan, was like, can't wait to hear this. And then you proceeded to talk for 5 minutes about how Nikolai Ehlers is gonna become a Leaf.
He is.
And he's like,
sorry, Brady.
And he was upset that we didn't light them up enough. We
didn't go hard enough at the Jets?
Well, the reason we didn't go hard enough at the Jets or any particular player on the Jets nudge, nudge, for what we're going to talk about, is this clip of Rick Bowness had not come out yet.
Okay, now, if you're listening to the audio version, you're going to hear frustration. If you're watching the show, you're going to see frustration. And what else, Steve?
An eye roll of all world proportions.
Have a look.
This is either the worst or second worst clip from a coach this season.
Two players came out. Dylan DeMello spoke to the importance of, hey, just because we didn't score, we still got to keep that shot clock high. Mark said, hey, the way I like to play is hold on to the puck, hold on to the puck, look for that pass into the slot. I mean, it sounds like you're getting two different camps of thought in terms of how to get out of this scoring slump.
We had enough scoring chances to win the hockey game.
It's a hell of an answer, too.
The answer's bad in itself. Not just the eye roll, the complete shift in body language from Rick Bowness.
So I'm trying to figure out what the Jets are actually trying to do. Are they trying to run up the shot clock, or are they trying to hang on to the puck and wait?
I think they should be trying to blow up this core.
Which we said 2 years ago, 3 years ago. People said, "Oh, you're crazy. You don't know Winnipeg. You don't know anything about hockey." That's what I was told. I was told I knew nothing about hockey.
Well, yeah.
But also, I was told I was wrong about the Jets.
And you know lots of mundane
Not only do you not
stuff.
know hockey, but you don't even know the Jets.
Which is, the Jets are uber hockey.
They are the most hockey.
But then we talked about it this summer, like, okay, it's toxic in there. You got to blow it up. And then the season begins and they're good.
Right.
They're
Even
good.
though training camp was...
Training camp was... but then they were good and didn't really stop being good until it kind of crept up. Like, they were good for so long that I just sort of didn't listen to Jets fans when they were talking about them falling off. Because I'm like, well, yeah, no, they're on a skid.
Yes.
They were due for a skid. Like, they've been so good all season. And the skid has been like 2 months now or something like that. And now they have, I think it's 9 goals in the last 7 games. We are talking to David Bastel a little later on. Spoiler, it's not recorded in chronological order all the time. But he has... Woo! But he has...
oh, man, Steve, that's the biggest spoiler of all. You just wrecked the ending of Sixth Sense.
Yeah, and also Ellie is Darth Vader's daughter.
Get behind me, Ellie.
Yeah.
Get behind me, Ellie.
What accent is that?
That's Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us.
Get behind me, Ellie.
Get behind me, Ellie. That's the only clips I'm seeing right now.
He's doing
Ellie,
Jim
get
Carrey
behind me.
from The Mask.
I think so.
Tiny Tim, I'm not going to be coming home this Christmas. Anyway, where was I going with all that?
You should be the Mask one day for Halloween.
I say it every fucking year and I never do it.
You do a very good mask.
The Jets losing to the Sharks 3-0 when they're battling for a playoff spot is absolutely unacceptable. A hockey team shouldn't do that.
I take one exception to that. I take one exception to what you just said, which is battling for a playoff spot. Because if you're losing 3-0 to the San Jose Sharks, you're not battling for anything.
You're giving up.
You're garbaging your way to a not playoff spot.
Like, I think what it is it's like the Flames and Jets don't seem to want to go to the playoffs and the Preds do. Like, it seems like they're like, I'd rather just end in April. Thanks.
Every so often, there's a player who decides to go to the playoffs, like on behalf of their team, and it's UC Saros.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're not done yet.
He's decided the Predators are going to the
I
playoffs.
want to play Colorado again because it went really well last year.
Who's the top wild card in the West?
So right now, the wild card standings, you can bring it up there, Maddie. We got Seattle is sitting in first wild card spot with 90 points. They're sitting comfy. They're good.
Yeah, they're not
There's so little games left. We got 8 games for them. You know, they're going to be good. 5-point lead on the Jets there for the second wild card, who have 85 points. Calgary, after everything we say about Calgary, they're 2 points back of the Jets.
And they've won 2 straight games.
Oh, wow. They're 3-1 since their players only meeting. They had a meeting and only the players
So
go, and they said,
Nashville-
we're mad, and I'm mad, or you're mad. We're not playing well.
Nashville, who is my pick to get that second wild card spot. They have a game in hand, so if they win that, they'll be 84 points, and Winnipeg will be at 85, so they'll be a point back.
No, here's what I want, Jesse. You've been banging the Nashville drum, but these 3 teams, none of them deserve to go.
No. Realistically, no.
None of them deserve to go. And the last 10 games for each of these three teams, Winnipeg are 5-5-0. Calgary are 5-3-2. Nashville 4-5-1. You're all embarrassing. Stop.
The hottest teams are the ones who have no chance.
I hope whoever gets it in the first round, and this is gonna come back to haunt me. I hope he gets steamrolled. None of you want it. Nashville maybe less so, but Calgary, Winnipeg, if you guys make it in, you clearly don't want it.
The Preds sold.
The Preds are a good story.
They're an interesting story, but
they're doing what the 2015 Flames did, the Cardiac Kids, where they sold at the deadline. They got way more than they should have for, I think it was Curtis Glencross.
Second round pick or something. And then he was out of the NHL the next year.
Yeah, no, that's not true. He got a PTO with the Leafs and then was out of the NHL.
Oh, sorry, you're right. You're right.
So, they sold and they could potentially make it.
If Nashville makes it, they've got 8 games left. They're currently a -13 in goal differential. If they make it with a negative goal differential, how many teams do you think? I would love to ask Sportsnet stats because they are the only ones who knows this stuff. But I'd love to know how many teams with negative goal differentials made the playoffs in the modern era.
The cap era.
Yeah. Don't give me any of that shit where like 21 teams used to make it or whatever. Or sorry, there was 21 teams in the league and 16 made it. That's not real.
So Steve, with your like Nashville sold kind of thing, like that's why I'm rooting for that core of players because you're sitting there trade deadline. Your GM's leaving, first of all. New GM's coming in at the end of the season. And they're saying, okay, we're not going to make it. We're going to sell off everything. And you're like, no, I'm not going to give up on this situation. I'm going to go out there and play hard. And you win these string of games that get you right on the cusp of the playoffs. Like, how can you not root for that team as opposed to, one, the Calgary Flames, who never got it together. All 82 games, can't get their shit together.
They got Dryden Hunt.
And then the other...
At the deadline.
And then the other one, who has just been a tailspin for 2 months.
They added Niederreiter too, which I thought was actually a really good ad.
Oh, it's a great ad.
And even I know they're sitting comfy, but like Seattle's backing into the playoffs.
Yep.
They're
a hot start team too. That's been mediocre.
Yeah, 4-4
in the middle point of the season.
4-4-2 in their last 10.
As good and as juiced up as the Eastern Conference is, there's a lot of opportunity for the top teams in the West to get to the Stanley Cup final fresher than their Eastern opponents and potentially win this thing. Because I think you play any one of those 4 teams, you steamroll them. It's Seattle, Winnipeg, Calgary, Nashville, unless there's some sort of surprising injury. If you're Vegas, Edmonton, Minnesota, Colorado especially. Yeah. Who else is in the Central? Who's the other Central? Why do I...
LA.
Dallas. Oh my God, LA and Dallas.
Yeah,
I really like both
teams.
Those teams.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. there's an opportunity.
The bracket challenge is going to be a little easier in the first round on the West side.
And then of course there'll be some stupid team that gets hot, right?
Whoever makes
your bracket.
I don't think any one of these.
No,
Martin Jones last night was surprisingly impressive again. You know, there's a guy who's had a weird little
career
in season this year, holding the fort for Seattle when he has to come in there.
Yeah, like even the teams, the wild card teams in the East, whoever they end up being, I think will, win a game or two at least over the Bruins or the Hurricanes or whatever. These teams they're barely playing 500 hockey. Like getting into the Western playoffs.
They're 4-5-1.
I know.
Nashville, we're talking about here they come. And they're fucking
none of them want it.
They're below 500.
But at least as you said, Nashville sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
Right? At least you can say that.
Yeah,
With the rest of these guys,
the other two are trying.
Like we talked about Calgary last offseason because they did have them. They and Ottawa had the best 2 off seasons of the year, and Ottawa undoubtedly got better, but obviously a 40-point swing from where they were to make the playoffs. It was a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Calgary, everything's gone wrong. Everything went right in the summer. Everything went wrong as soon as October 1st hit. And I feel like it's almost... Do you ever get the feeling sometimes, and I felt like this with the Leafs like 10 years ago. You ever feel like sometimes the players are just punishing the coach? Like, no, we're not going to play for you because we hope you get fired.
So I feel like Sutter and Bonus are going through that. The difference,
I don't think Bonus is back next year.
Well,
There's no way.
Yeah, the difference though is Bonus just got there. And it's like, okay, maybe he hasn't done the best job, but you did this to the last guy too. Whereas the Flames had Daryl Sutter last year.
I don't think, if Winnipeg doesn't make the playoffs, I don't know if they have, like we talked about breaking up, I don't think they have a choice at this point. You have people that you've got several coaches who have quietly and publicly questioned the motivation, the cohesiveness, the leadership, the commitment to playing with the same effort every night. How many more do we need?
And
I feel bad for Rick Bowness because I think he came in and did the best job he could with this team, but these fissures existed.
Yeah.
This has been like this. Fissures, like cracks in the earth.
Fishermen.
These fishermen were here, and they were catching stuff.
And these fishermen are not friends.
Oh,
you see.
How's your throat?
Boo.
Well, it's better now that I've had fishermen's friends. Terrible. You know how many people just turned it off?
All right. Hey, he's got a hotkey page. Hey.
Wow, that one's much better.
Oh, there you go.
Can we get a Waka Waka for Steve? Can you get a Waka Waka for Steve?
I can't. I'll plug in a Waka Waka.
Thank you.
Oh,
that's good. Now,
wait. Can we do can we zoom with these cameras?
Maddie, I don't think you know how.
No? Oh, I wanted to do the Debbie Downer thing. Well, at least they're going to lose Dubois in the offseason.
After you can bet that, and we're going to talk.
I love the future.
I got a question for Dave about the Jets, and you can bet that.
I'll put one here.
Guys, how hard are your parents on you?
Nah,
they're not that hard.
Well, I mean, I'm 35 and I don't live there anymore.
I know, but how hard are your parents on you? Like on your performance? Like if they were to watch your show, are they happy with your show? Are they?
Where are you going with this?
Just answer the question, and I can go somewhere with it. Steve's like, let me write you a dissertation on this. I just need a one-word answer.
Let me give some banal details.
Okay. Stop it! Don't.
There you go.
Do not reward this.
I think you should use it at least.
Can we please answer the question? Do you have hard-ass parents or not?
They're very participatory and supportive.
Okay, so I would tell you, Jesse. What about your father?
Depends on what it is.
Okay, what about this? What you do for a living? Is he
this?
Yeah.
What I think he's happy with my
that's the thing. I don't think my mom could care. Like, I don't know if she could care less. I remember she lives like 5 minutes from here. I remember like, Mom, you want to go see the building? She's like, another day.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Miss Dennis
does not care. But
my dad has humiliated me at the store.
Has he?
Like, so he's the complete opposite of that.
What do you mean?
Like he'll try to drop hockey into conversations, and I'm like, oh no, please don't. And then he's said this in front of me before, like to the person behind the cash. He's like, do you know who this is?
No.
And I'm like, I'm leaving the store. I'm walking out.
I would want to dive under the earth.
That's adorable though.
He's proud of his son.
Absolutely not. Don't you encourage Gary. That's enough.
He's so overwhelmed with joy about his son. He has to tell everybody.
Well,
yeah, but then the answer's no. And everyone's embarrassed.
You're a 35-year-old man, and he's at Food Basics. Being like, do you know who my son is?
Yeah.
And my mom,
do you want to hear some Leafs content?
Like, oh my god,
that's adorable. That's the cutest story you've ever told.
So the reason I bring this up is because I figured your answers would be what they are, and I figured my answer would be what it is, and I think it has to do with the fact that if your parents do for a living what you do for a living, then they're less impressed by it.
I think I know where you're going.
And Matthew Tkachuk's father, Keith Tkachuk, had some stuff to say about the fighting for the playoffs, just beat the Leafs, Florida Panthers earlier this week, that I think you will find very interesting because Keith Tkachuk has a problem with lying. He's pretty fucking blunt, and you're going to want to hear what he has to say after you can bet that.
Let's bring on Dave!
Stop.
Chronological order.
You can bet that with David Bastel. Brought to you by Sports Interaction. Get in the action and make a play. 19 plus. Please play responsibly.
Dave Bastel, we have some good odds for tomorrow. Obviously, we've got Brady Tkachuk, and we've got something about Claude Giroux as well. To tell people what they can bet on at sportsinteraction.com.
Yeah, absolutely. You head to Dangle's Doozies, and Claude Giroux, believe it or not, the only Ontario-born player on the Sens roster. I was looking over it, and I was like, that's got to be wrong. But this is what we got. This is it. So to score a goal, he has 17 career goals in 44 games against the Leafs, going back to the Flyers and Panthers, and where he is right now.
I'm shocked that's it.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you think Claude Giroux, you think some goals against the Leafs, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's like, So
were they drafted in the early 2000s? They've done well against the Leafs.
Now
we got a Brady Tkachuk hat trick, and I'm gonna add a Leaf shutout prop that will probably be on before the end of this taping. So that's something to look out for. Just because I think that's a possibility.
You're burying the lead here. The hat trick thing is what's interesting. What are the odds on the Brady Tkachuk hat trick? Because this is
51.
great.
Big fat 51, guys.
51.
He scored 2 last time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He plays the Leafs well.
$2 gets you over $100, right?
Yeah, just saying. $2, Steve.
$2.
$2, Steve.
Yeah, but it's against the Leafs.
Dave, I was hoping that you could add something this weekend to the website.
Okay, fine.
And it's will Mark Scheifele ever be happy?
No.
What are the odds?
No is paying a lot. You know what? You know what's really depressing? Tell us. So I'm waiting for this Zoom link, and I'm looking through some Jet numbers, and I'm like, Scheifele 0 goals 9 games, Connor 1 goal 14 games, Dubois 2 goals 13 games. Goddamn, Blake Wheeler hasn't scored in 26 effing games.
Actually,
even my man Nino Niederreiter, which I love, hasn't scored in 7 games. This is, and you know what? You look at the Flames cupcake schedule going down the stretch. Could it be any more American Hockey League? Thanks, Gary Bettman. That's fantastic.
Well,
I'm looking for excuses, as you can tell.
Yeah, he's targeting you. By the way, Gary's coming after you.
You should watch out for Nashville, not the Flames there.
Yeah. Jesse's big on Nashville. You're big on.
Yeah. No, I think they can sneak in.
I don't think so.
It's
going to be the Flames punching the Jets in the face last minute.
Dave, out of all of the teams racing for that spot, Nashville has the best goalie.
And he's been unreal.
I don't know about that.
Dave, you can't take that.
I don't know about that.
You can't take that.
The Jets' only consistency has been what they have in net. And yeah,
and it's been slightly worse than a division rival.
Don't add to Dave's
the
5-foot.
The 5'5" goaltender in Nashville isn't even going to be the starter next year, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
All right, Dave, hey man, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it, and we will see you Monday, my friend.
By the way, since Jess is picking on me, Matthews has more goals than Willie now. What the hell's up with that?
I know. That's true.
That's good news for me.
Yeah.
Good news for me.
How dare you?
Just being a bully. I gotta go. See you later.
Hockey Dad Keith Tkachuk. This is Bleacher Report Open Ice that I'm getting this from. Hockey Dad Keith Tkachuk not holding back on his son's team. They're a soft team, and they're getting everything they deserve right now.
Wow.
Now, they did beat the Leafs this week, so we can't gloat too much. But it was in overtime.
Yes.
And
they got outplayed the entire time.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were bad.
So.
Oh, no, sorry. 59 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I know. That first minute was ridiculous. I remember being like, oh. And the Leafs came out so strong in the second period. You know, one of those goals was called back, and it was offside.
Yeah.
But, you know, they did come out the right way. The Leafs, I think, responded well. I wasn't upset about that loss at all.
No.
But I wanted to focus on the Panthers thing because this is a team that went from being the best team in the league last year, objectively, in the regular season, and then they kind of got slammed in the second round, and then to get better, they went out and made a huge trade for Matthew Tkachuk, who has been spectacular for them.
You know, it's interesting though. That trade looked like it could cost them in the standings. Well,
because Weegar was involved, right?
It was 2-for-1, right? Like Tkachuk. I mean, obviously it's 2-for-1 because of the age thing. And maybe a little bit of intangibles thing, but like Huberdeau had a record-breaking season last year, and you give up,
and not the Florida Panthers records, which are easy to get, by the way.
Yes. No, but like
an NHL record.
Winger. Yeah. No, Florida Panthers record are like.
Did you play for us?
Scott Mellenby with 45 points in the 97-98 season. Like, no, it's not a rich history, but they've been to the Cup final more recently than the Leafs.
Right.
You know, just wait. Here, wait. No, there's got to be a button for that.
No, do not give him access to that. You know what's going to happen. I saw you on Tim and Sid. I know what you did.
There you go.
I know what you did on that. You went after that thing aggressively.
Yeah, and it was like 3 years before I was invited back. I don't understand why.
Could it be?
I don't
you couldn't talk about the Jays bullpen for 10 minutes?
Or football on American Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I'm Steve Dangle. You know my biggest problem?
I was driving down to that show, and I'm like, I don't know fucking shit. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
Well, you just let Sid take it because you run with Sid.
That's exactly what I did.
By the way, shout out to Tim and friends. The show is going off the air, but they're switching everybody over to the Sportsnet Central thing, so that should be really cool for them. But we just want to do a shout out because Tim's a friend of the show.
Do you want to play Keith?
Can you?
Yeah,
please.
All right, here is Keith Tkachuk on First Step with Carlo Koliakovo.
Your son Matthew in town tonight here in Toronto to play the Maple Leafs. Big game for the Panthers. They've been struggling of late. I mean, Matthew owes you a little birthday gift. Like, he's going to tuck one tonight against the Leafs, right?
Well, I hope so. I mean, this is do or die for the Panthers right now. So, I watched them the other night, and, I know I'm staying at Brady's house, but Brady's team, they played really well. They'd have some jam, and I'm a little disappointed in the Panthers. They're a bit, they're a soft team, and they're getting everything they deserve right now.
So, Walt, how's it been this year with Matthew's transition to Florida? Obviously,
I mean, that's the quote.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You want a little more?
No.
Okay.
Called them a soft team. Here, wait. Do you hear that?
What is it?
That's the gravitational pull of Toronto. I'm sorry. It is the center of the universe. It's the center of the hockey universe for sure.
Sure.
It's the center of the NHL universe for sure.
Are you saying if he said that on Florida radio, it wouldn't have had the same effect?
It literally would not have mattered.
I don't know if he'd be invited on a Florida radio station, to be honest with you, unless it's Tampa.
There are maybe 5 markets in the league. I think I'm being generous, where it would have had that impact. I will stop treating Toronto like the center of the hockey universe when the rest of the hockey universe stops treating Toronto like the center of the hockey universe. That was a strategic ploy by Keith Tkachuk, and it was brilliant. Mwah! Chef's kiss, no notes.
Why?
CJ was on the CJ show that I was listening to before this show. Supposedly, people within the Panthers organization are not upset in the slightest that Keith Tkachuk did this, because the Panthers don't get external pressure. They don't get, they don't have fires to put out in their own market. But it's just so weird that this inflammatory quote came out as they're in Toronto to play the Leafs. Isn't it weird how all these weird things seem to happen to teams when they're coming to town and talking to Toronto?
I thought it was just the Toronto media making something up.
Maybe, with doing their jobs and asking questions. And they're asking about the Brooks Koepka Aaron Ekblad thing, and Ekblad finally responds to it, and I'm like, did no one ask about this in the week since it happened? Anyway, it was a brilliant ploy to put heat on the Panthers on top of the pressure that they have to make the playoffs. It added pressure to them to make the playoffs. It did. And you might be a Panthers fan listening to this, and I was pressuring them to make the playoffs. Yeah, you were. You were. Most people aren't.
So you got to help me understand something, because I have not caught the CJ show yet. So tell me why people within the organization are excited about this.
They're excited about it because it gives the Panthers a little dose of what the Leafs have to deal with every damn day. And the Canucks and, it's a bunch of other big teams in the league, or bigger market teams, whatever you want to call it. The Rangers, for sure.
The Rangers do.
The pressure they get from the Jesse Blake Sports Report alone.
Oh, yeah.
Is unbelievable. But
they've risen to the occasion, you would say.
I would say.
The thing is that it's one thing to say, yeah, we need to win. Yeah, it's do or die. How about you're friggin' soft? Keith Tkachuk said that about a team that is decidedly not soft. Like when I first heard that quote, I'm like, okay, that's hilarious. Like you want to talk about teams in the East that are definitely not soft. The Panthers would definitely make that list. I mean, they're a little softer without Sam Bennett there, but I mean, Matthew Tkachuk and Radko Gudas alone.
Any team that employs Radko Gudas is not, by definition, you can't be.
That guy has no interest in the puck.
So what's the point then? Why did he do it?
To light a fire under him and get him to fucking play hockey, which I don't know. Maybe that's been a struggle for them. Maybe that's why they're still not locked into a playoff spot. And maybe it was somewhat of a message to, I don't want to say it was a message to his son, because I think he would have had that conversation privately. But to me, I gained some respect for Matthew Tkachuk. Because that Keith Tkachuk quote comes out, and who was the first Panther to take the ice and be a shithead?
Matthew
Tkachuk.
Well, Radko Gudas and Michael Bunting too.
Yeah, but but Tkachuk was first. It was every whistle. I tweeted this, and I'm amazed how little pushback I got, because people just understand that it's true. Matthew Tkachuk understands something I wish the Leafs would have learned from the Bruins in 2018 and 2019, and they just haven't. Unless you're a complete idiot after the whistle is blown. So you play stops because the whistle is blown. Unless you're a complete idiot, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You can shove the guy, give him a little cross
little
check,
face
give him
wash,
a little
little bruise, give him a bruise.
Yeah, you can, but you do that. How many shifts do you get in a game? Like 25? Yeah. If you're a top 6 guy, you do that 25 fucking times. You tell me that's not going to needle the opponent.
And then multiply that over 7 games.
Well, and just like the amount of thinking you need to do, and like preparation for your next shift, and what went wrong and what went right and what we need to do next time. And so much of that thinking time is taken up by just your hatred of that fucking shithead who just did that to you. Like, the Bruins aren't just a great team, they make you worse. And this is what
they pull your focus.
Yes, and I know this is Steve's sermon about, how much I appreciate how the Bruins play hockey. Like, please follow them. They've been very successful. I don't know if you've noticed. And Matthew Tkachuk is that to an absolute T. Now, Gudas does some of that stuff, takes it too far.
He's also not great anymore.
No.
He used to be an analytics darling, and that's cool, but he's always a third pair guy. You need it's not, the Bruins aren't great because Charlie Coyle's like that. They're great because Brad Marchand's like that.
Well,
and nothing against
like
Charlie
that.
Coyle.
They're like that because everyone's like that.
Yeah, but like Trent Frederick and Brad Marchand are both the same level of shithead, but Brad Marchand's he's an Olympic level hockey player.
If he wasn't a shithead, he would still bang out like 80 points at least.
Exactly.
So
we always kind of default to the Bruins in that conversation because they've been they get
their
reputation,
brand.
That's their brand. But the real answer is the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep.
They are.
Jesse nailed it.
Their stars
Nailed it.
The biggest assholes in Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos, who is basically another referee on the ice. There's 5 on the ice when he's out there. And they also have the winning to back it up. The Bruins haven't won in a while. They've been to the Stanley Cup recently, a couple years ago. But like the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have the winning and the shitheadness out of their stars.
Let's allow ourselves to fantasize. Do you have a fantasy button? A magic button? No.
I hate this.
All right, forget it. I'm sorry I asked. Let's fantasize. Okay, Leafs play round 1. It's against Tampa. All right? They find a way to win. Leafs play round 2. It's against Boston. They find a way to win. Mm-hmm. Leafs play round 3. Let's say it's against the Rangers, and they find a way to win. That's 3 consecutive teams that'll just be absolute dickheads to you and fuck you up during the play and after it. It's a war. It's a war. The Stanley Cup playoffs are. It's a war to get through these things, and maybe there's no point in them getting engaged in these battles. Like, I'm starting to make this about the Leafs very slowly.
It is though.
So maybe it is and it isn't. Like we're talking about the Panthers and everything. That was a playoff game for the Florida Panthers. So they played like it was a playoff game. They did all that shit after the whistle.
Yep.
When push comes to shove for the Leafs, they have to do it too. Does it make sense to do it in Game 74 when you can be pretty confident you're going to end up where you're going to end up? No, probably not.
Yeah,
probably not. But the Panthers, I mean, you saw the celebration when they tied it, and Brandon Montour's reaction to that overtime winner. That was as big a celebration as I've seen for any playoff overtime goal, because that's exactly what it was. So I think Keith Tkachuk got the Panthers ready for war, challenged them to be ready for war, and Matthew Tkachuk was the general.
You want me to hurt you in your core a little, Steven?
Do it.
What happens if you do all those things that you just said, and it's game 1 of the playoffs, and your name is Kyle Clifford?
Yeah.
He took it too far.
Also, if you want to...
Did he? Or did they give him too much?
No.
The suspension was too much. The penalty was fine.
You're both wrong. Yeah. Any team that wants to beat Tampa Bay cannot be starting Kyle Clifford in the first game.
That's true.
It's Clifford and Simmons.
Well, but
Simmons, who looked good.
But yeah, Simmons was looking real good, like real good, and he looked good against Florida, like really good.
We'll find out if he's comparable to Radim Zahorna on Saturday.
I love when they gave him the coincidental minor just because his name was Wayne Simmons. And
I know
he was near the roughing that was going on. There's no reason he should have had that penalty.
Also, the penalty that Willie drew, I can't remember who the player was, but it was fabricated. It's completely fabricated.
Which one was that?
I think it was on Carter Verhaeghe. They called him for holding.
Oh, yeah.
And then the play continues, and Willie trips on Verhaeghe's stick. Then the arm goes up, and he's like, holding. And Paul Maurice goes, that's the funniest Paul Maurice clip. Forget anything that he said after the game and forget him blowing up at his team. This was the funniest clip. He said something along the lines of, "That's fucking horse shit." And then they announced number 23 for holding, and he goes, and you very clearly see in his face, he's like, "What the fuck? That's fucking horse shit." So you saw him say that's fucking horse shit, and then it's not what he thought at all, and he's like, I'm committing. I'm sticking to it. That's horse shit.
Because, well, the call made no sense. He was right either way.
Yeah.
Well, it was a hold, but they did not call it.
No, he called a hold because Willie tripped over the stick that fell.
Yeah.
That's why he got a penalty for holding, because he lost his stick and Willie tripped over it.
It's a fabricated penalty.
We all saw what happened, and then the refs just go and pretend like we didn't. Like television doesn't exist. Like we're in the 1800s and this wasn't broadcast. Like I don't understand what these refs think is happening.
The whole family is sitting around a radio the size of a fridge. Like I don't get it, man.
Do you think that the refs? Do you think the refs?
Sorry.
Well, do you think that they care? I don't think they care. They don't act like they care. They should care, but I don't think know if they do.
I think they're doing their best, but like
sometimes
you made it up.
Okay.
You made it up.
Okay.
It benefited the Leafs, so I'm not going to complain that much.
Did.
But you made it up.
Okay. I just want to throw something out there, Jesse. There is a picture I sent you from Twitter.
All right.
And I want you to
that could mean anything.
I just want it's in your thing. And I didn't know. See, there is, like in Star Wars, there's only supposed to be one Skywalker, but no, there is another. And this is Cam McDavid.
What?
Have you ever seen a picture? I didn't know Connor McDavid had a brother. And that is Connor McDavid, though.
Drawn from memory.
I thought that is Connor McDavid drawn from memory. Is that wild? Isn't that wild?
What's the age gap?
It has to be several hours.
Right.
They are identical.
Wow.
That's scary.
Even the
that's
brows.
not Connor McDavid.
The only thing that's different is Connor's haircut. That's it.
I know.
That's it.
I know sets of twins that don't look as alike as McDavid, Connor, and Cam.
I actually had to look that up. I don't think they are twins.
No, they're not?
I don't think so.
And this isn't just Connor.
No. He's a different build, you can tell. I mean, one's a professional athlete, I guess. But what?
Oh, wait. Does he?
Are they twins?
No.
He is? Yeah.
Oh, they're twins.
Cameron McDavid, twin brother. Yeah.
That makes much more
sense.
Why isn't that like... What?
So it was a couple hours. Yeah.
How am I just finding... This dude was drafted in 2015.
Yeah.
We've known about him since like 2013. We've known about him since like the year the show was created.
Okay, so...
He has a twin brother.
Hold on. Okay, you guys are going to laugh at me here, but I'm getting my sources from factboys.com.
You really should have your ass kicked for that.
Connor McDavid's twin brother, Cameron McDavid, is a well-known Canadian ice hockey player. Cameron's widely... Oh, they got it all mixed up. Connor McDavid's twin brother, Cameron, is a well-known Canadian ice hockey player. That's not right.
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not twins.
Yeah.
No. They're not twins at all.
I should kick your ass.
Yeah.
I really should kick your ass.
You are spreading misinformation. Cameron, what the fuck, is 29?
He's been with his... apparently, he's been with his wife for 10 years. Yeah.
Adam, what the fuck?
Cameron.
It's just
But
wild.
they look enough alike that I believed you.
It was believable.
Until I heard you fucking went to factboys.com.
And by the way, boys is spelled B-O-Y-Z. So when you go to factboys.com, you got to know. Factboys.com.
That's mundane and untrue.
Oh, hold on. We get this other picture of them.
Man.
It's wild. This is it's
No, I have twin cousins who do not look as alike as these two.
Here's them
I have
together.
never seen that picture.
See, you can tell here in this photo that he's the older brother and Connor's the younger
But it's
one.
because Connor's so young there.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, they didn't always look like identical twins.
No, dude, that picture is from... Oh, I'm a fucking idiot.
That's the article.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's the article updated. I'm like, oh my God, that picture's from today.
That picture is from an hour ago?
A gala an hour ago? At noon? In this economy?
Jesse
Just
is
a
the
bunch
last
of
man
morons.
standing.
Aurora
Adam and I
Borealis.
are fucking stupid. You're the last man standing. Adam and I are so fucking
Oh,
dumb.
no, I'm next.
Oh, no.
It's coming, Jesse.
but-
It's
so
coming.
McDavid is freshly shaven in that photo. If they both have beards, they're identical. And also, I'm a fucking idiot.
You guys are dummies. One, they are not twins. Two, this was not taken an hour ago.
I was like, March 31st, but that's today. What breakfast gala is this? And it's in Alberta? They're at a gala at 10:49 in the morning?
Connor also looks like 17 in this
He does.
photo.
That's what I was saying. I was like, that's clearly child Connor McDavid. He doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah, so they didn't always look like twins, but
now
it
they
seems
do.
like Connor has grown into Cameron, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
I think no press conference, and we leave for the day.
I don't care.
I think we're done.
If I'm wrong about Connor having a twin, I can live with that. I can live with that.
What was the website?
Fact Boys. Not to be confused with Fat Boys.
I am super
Boys.
not. Oh my God.
What?
Fact
What is
Boys.
it? What? You never been to factboys.com to find out your facts about the boys?
Spread
No.
information.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Get your information from lying high school students on TikTok, like the rest of us.
I don't know what this means, but we're going to go through it anyway. A formal complaint in the Maricopa County Superior Court has Phoenix, the owners and operators of Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, suing Tempe for a breach of contract, asking the court rescind Tempe's recent zoning and land use changes to prohibit future residential uses in the area that the FAA says is incompatible with residential development. So essentially, Phoenix is suing Tempe right now about the place where the Coyotes are supposed to build this arena. Now, I guess they've been negotiating for months, and they said the Phoenix Aviation Department does not object to sports arenas, restaurants, shops, and other compatible uses related to the proposed Tempe Entertainment District. Today's action is about ensuring Tempe lives up to its commitments to protect our state's largest economic engine, Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, with more than 57,000 employees. And I guess, so here's how Tempe responded. Are you ready for this? American politics, gotta love it. The complaint filed by the Phoenix Aviation Department represents new heights of hypocrisy.
Whoa!
While it is okay for Phoenix to build a baseball stadium, a basketball arena, a soccer stadium in the flight path of the Sky Harbor Airport, somehow it's wrong for Tempe's when Tempe attempts to convert an old polluted landfill into a new sports and entertainment district. And there is no shortage of new residential development in and around downtown Phoenix sports venues, nor is there a shortage of residential units in and around the airport in Phoenix. So essentially what they're saying is, listen, we have 57,000 employees. Phoenix is saying that there's 57,000 employees that work at that airport. That area needs to be reserved for residential. And what Tempe's saying is, you can build all the shit that you want, and you're trying to stop us from building all this and residential units. What the hell's the problem? It's weird.
Do you not long for the day where the biggest story about the Arizona Coyotes is that they play
record?
Hockey? Like,
just the record.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So
They
here's
play hockey.
here's why this matters. And I don't even know. I don't understand this. I'll be flat out. I read several articles on it. I don't quite get it. But what I do understand is that this stuff can hold up processes. When you have a city suing another city, it can hold up the thing that the first city is suing the second city about.
do you mean that the future of the Arizona Coyotes shouldn't have been based off a plan that is essentially pissing into the wind?
Well, I mean, if you believe the reports out of Tempe, it's a great proposal. And frankly, it sounds amazing. They're taking a landfill and
Every proposal's great. You have an opportunity to present an idea from scratch with no practical. How do you fuck an idea up? It's once you start performing and building the thing. Every proposal's great. I saw the proposal. It's great. Of course it is. It's an idea for a sports building. You could go to any elementary school and find a lesser crayon version of the exact same thing. One day, I'm going to build a hockey building, and there's going to be 3 floors, and basketball is going to be played on this floor, and all of a sudden, you've created Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Except you're a child, so
Yeah.
there's going to be a Pizza Hut connected to it, and also a spaceship up here, and every proposal is great. Some proposals are from stupid people.
Yep.
Most proposals are great. The practical's not going great. I'm so sick of the Arizona Coyotes organization. The teams play fun games in a fun building. That's fine.
With bad lighting.
Bad lighting.
Yeah.
Terrible lighting.
But there's several teams around the league with horrendous lighting, and no one does anything about it, and I'm shocked. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great
San Jose
atmosphere.
and Florida.
Great atmosphere.
No, but at least they don't have shadows.
Yeah, it's true.
That too. But I'm so sick. I'm so sick of it. Like you were talking about the Aviation Council, and I'm like,
I know it's so. Hey,
my
Steve, Banal.
It's extremely banal. It's talking about the planals. Dude.
Here's the interesting part, and this is from ArizonaSports.com. Those involved on the Coyotes side thought this disagreement between the two cities had been settled. Quote, the bottom line is the airport actually came out and publicly said they were standing down from any opposition. Coyotes president and CEO Xavier Gutierrez said on Arizona's Sports Burns and Gambo show March 2nd regarding the December change of heart from Sky Harbor. So that is a public statement. They've made it, and it really stems from the fact that the intergovernmental agreement between Phoenix and Tempe does allow this. The challenge there had nothing to do with this project, and it really is about the expansion of the airport, truth be told. So I guess they want to expand the airport a little bit too. There is absolutely a need to expand the airport. We're very much in favor of this. Phoenix and Sky Harbor are looking to utilize the land in the city of Tempe to bring them to the table, blah, 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 blah.
So this is just season 5 of Yellowstone without any of the things that make that show interesting.
It seems that way. And again, I'm not saying that this will hold up the Coyotes, but if it holds up the entertainment district, then the whole point of putting the team in Tempe changes.
Congrats. You've invented the Ottawa Senators currently.
Without the district, what's the long-term viability? Right? So maybe 3 years from now, like they claim, they're out of Mullet Arena and they're already playing in this new arena, which I still don't know how that's possible. But they're saying that that's what it's going to be. So maybe that's going to happen. But then you're going to tell me that, well, what if this litigation goes on for a decade? That can happen easily.
It sounds like the airport's just lobbying for more airport space.
Yes. They want their.
They just want to expand the airport a little,
and they
they're
also
a little jealous that across the street they're getting a huge entertainment thing.
It seems like the right thing to do to have an entertainment space right next to an airport, right? Jump off the plane.
I'm no city planner, but I've been to Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is set up beautifully in that you land right there at the airport, and next to it is a giant-ass football stadium, a strip that's world-renowned for everything it is, and then the hockey arena and Las Vegas itself.
I don't know,
it's
Jesse.
Amazing.
I don't know, Jesse. An airport that close to the city, I might actually hear the engines.
Oh, no. This never worked for Vegas.
I hate that argument.
It's fantastic.
Can't stand
also, arguing about airports is fucking boring.
I'm just saying, but is this
It's kind of banal, Adam.
You know, it is, but what I brought it up for that reason. It's like the George Clooney in South Park, the South Park movie. It never gets any easier, and then they walk away. It's just, what do you even say?
Well, I think what you say is this: the real question is, who do the Coyotes draft with their second first rounder? Because they actually have another that they got in the Jacob Chikrin trade.
Oh, they
Ottawa.
did. Wow, that's great.
It is top 10 protected, I believe, and I want to know how that's going to affect the airport deal. Fucking store! I'm so sick of this. Dude, we've been doing this show for a decade, and the vast majority of the conversations to do with the Arizona Coyotes are where are they going to play.
The other vast is apologizing to Coyotes fans for being so hard on the Coyotes, and they get mad at us.
I'm not apologizing.
Well,
what is the Stockholm Syndrome relationship you have with this fucking hockey team? It's different from my Stockholm Syndrome relationship I have with my hockey team. That mine is they keep fucking losing and I keep showing up. The Arizona one is they keep losing and they don't show up because they're in a different building. Like, dude, why are you letting them put you through this?
Now, this might mean nothing. People are going to say this means nothing. I still think there's some smoke here.
The majority of people are not letting them put them through this, by the way. They're just like, okay, I'll watch the Cardinals or like some shit. How is hockey supposed to, like, yeah, well, Arizona gave you Sean Couturier and Austin Matthews. And yeah, okay, great. Imagine how many more stars could have come out of Arizona in the hockey world if your team wasn't a complete fucking clown car.
Why are the Phoenix Suns such a great success? Like, that's a storied NBA franchise.
Because Rudy Gobert said today the NHL or the NBA wants them to win.
That too.
That's what Rudy Gobert said.
Was that a quote?
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't see that?
He said the Suns and the Kings and the Warriors.
Oh, he's going to get fined an unbelievable sum of money.
What was the context of him saying this? Like, what was he asked?
Let me look it up. Well, because he was upset that they lost to the Suns.
Oh my gosh, Rudy, shut up.
It was definitely worse than. It was at least as bad as Fred VanVleet.
Rudy's super good at saying stuff that's really stupid sometimes.
Okay, question. This is from.
You got to question everything. Nice.
Yeah. This is from Chris Hine. Question. The refs were calling it free-flowing in the first half. Then a lot of fouls in the second half. Did that make it harder to defend? Gobert, it's bullshit. Bullshit. It's not fair. It's really not fair. Every night. I've been in this league for 10 years, and I try to always give the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard for me to think they're not trying to help them win tonight. It's hard for me to think they didn't try to help the Warriors win the other night or Sacramento Kings the other night. It's just so obvious. As a basketball player that's been in this league for so long, it's disrespectful, and it sucks, to be honest. We work so hard to be in a position to compete with the best, and we just get manipulated into those situations where it just impacts the game for the other team too much. They know how to do it. They do it a lot of different ways. Tonight was another way of doing it. But it's all good, said the man who doesn't think it's all good at all. We understand that it's also a business. Unfortunately, it's sad, but it's good also. It's really good, but it's true. This is jumping the shark. We understand that we're not the biggest of markets, and we're a team that I think you want to see KD in the playoffs, Steph in the playoffs, and you want to see LeBron in the playoffs. Timberwolves are not there yet. We got to keep putting our head down, keep playing through that, and it's frustrating for sure, especially for me. So there's Rudy Gobert essentially implying that the league has a mandate to rig games against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and specifically the last 3 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I think is probably going to get him fined a shitload of money.
I agree. But I also think, back to the Coyotes for a second.
My point was, Phoenix is a major pro sport franchise.
Yes.
The Phoenix Suns.
The Suns are so big that they're rigging games for them.
Yes, they are one of the best franchises in the NBA, historic franchise, and they've been very successful. I mean, and I feel like pro sports can work in that state, and we have proof of concept, and the other league and hockey can't figure it out.
That's why the NHL has rigged it for the Coyotes to stay in that market.
I mean, there's no other way to look at it at this point.
They're still there because they're not called the Atlanta Coyotes,
or the Quebec City Coyotes,
or the Hartford Coyotes. If it was any other market, they would have been long fucking gone.
If there was any other market, even if you got to look at it like this too, like
a market in a Canadian city.
People are like, but they're trying to make them a viable franchise, and I get all that. But had you stayed in any of the cities that Steve just mentioned and just broken even, it would have been a net gain for the NHL over the last 30 years. Had you just broken even, had your balance sheet at the end of the year been 0.
When did the Coyotes join the NHL? Like 96?
They moved 96.
96 or 97?
I think it was 96.
Okay. Collectively.
95, 96.
Collectively. So 41 home dates per season since then. Combined. Mm-hmm. All those seasons. Which market would have had the most butts in seats collectively over the franchise's entire time there? Arizona, Saskatoon, or Halifax? I think Arizona's third.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because Saskatoon, they can put 40,000 people. Well, Regina, sorry. They can put 40,000 people in the seats in Regina.
Yeah.
Easily, every game.
And neither of those cities is even close to big enough for...
Mm-hmm. And Nova Scotia... there's a lot of cities within driving distance. People, if there was a team on the East Coast, people would go. It's just the corporate sponsorship dollars aren't there.
Yeah, listen, I too am looking forward to a resolution here because I'm so sick of talking about this. Mm-hmm. I feel like I said this to you 5 years ago on the show. I'm so sick of talking about
this.
The
first show we ever did, 10 years minus 2 months ago, one of the first topics I brought up was the Coyotes arena situation. That's one of the first things.
How many
and I said to you at the time,
has this lasted?
I introduced it at the time as, when are we going to be able to stop talking about this?
I wasn't an adult. I probably couldn't vote like the first time this situation came up.
When was this franchise founded, the Arizona Coyotes franchise?
Are you gonna? You're probably gonna say 79,
68,
1972.
Blow it out your
the WHA.
The WHA is the Winnipeg.
Shut up. Shut up.
Go to the NHL record.
Doesn't belong to the team.
Up.
Or it doesn't belong to the city. Doesn't belong to the city.
No.
Which city? Phoenix, Glendale, Tempe. Fuck off. Enough. Holy.
No, guys, get used to Mullet Arena because you're going to be there a while.
Apparently, Steve, you were very right about road teams coming in.
They like it.
And now that it's been a season, it's been not even a season because they didn't start until December. Or they had the 2 games. Remember they had the 2 games or 3 games, low homestand, then they had to finish the arena.
Yes.
And then they came back after another long road trip. So road teams have had a little bit of trouble coming in there because of how
they don't take it seriously.
How much fun the area around
bet it's a university.
How good the campus is.
Yes.
It's a little different environment. So road teams of having not the usual trip in to Tempe.
They give all the visiting players a meal card so they can go get something to eat before the game.
Yeah, go get a nice
off.
piece of greasy pizza from the calf.
Yeah.
It's just the atmosphere's so great. Okay, go yell in a tiny room and then go yell in a big room. Which one's louder? The tiny room, stupid. It's not an NHL thing.
So let me jump in on that.
Sure.
That is a good point. It's a great jumping off point. I want you to know the public vote for approval of the entertainment district in Tempe comes on May 16th. Oh. Marty Walsh, who was introduced to the media as the head of the NHLPA yesterday, and he's our next topic anyway, talked about this.
Brother of Alan Walsh.
No,
twin.
Twin.
According to fartboys.com, twin brother of Alan Walsh. Can you believe that, you guys? Wow.
Fart Boys with a Z. Don't you forget it.
No, I just Googled it. Fart Boys said they're twins.
So, definitely truefacts.eagle.facebook. Good job, Adam.
Birthdayfacts.com. Marty Walsh is meeting with the Arizona players next week. And, quote, there's a few concerns.
Yeah? No, I thought it was great. Concerns? Concerned that they're having too much fun.
Could your voice get a little higher?
This is concerns. What are you talking about? It's an absolutely incredible experience to play there. What a gift.
The salary cap is one of the concerns named, as in Arizona's not spending to it.
They're not spending even near the floor.
No.
They have their own budget.
No,
It's like $8.
if you're mad about Tampa winning the Cup with a $90 million payroll a couple years ago, you need to be equally mad about the Coyotes now. Okay? But also, the new arena ballot initiative. They're playing in a college arena. These are National Hockey League players. They should be playing in a good, strong arena. If the vote doesn't go the right way, what happens? It's something that needs to be addressed pretty quickly.
They're pissing into the wind. The whole plan for the Coyotes is probably going to be great if it works. Do you know how much shit can happen in 4 years? What happens? This whole thing could fall apart in like 5 weeks.
4 years ago, we were broadcasting in a studio that was barely held together with tape at Bell with the Purelator truck.
Dude, like, yes.
Decent studio.
It wasn't great.
It was okay.
It was in disrepair.
I'd like
it had
definitely
potential.
not sneaking into that building.
You weren't
every
sneaking
time.
in. They knew.
Here's a question. The Coyotes have 14 forwards on the roster right now. And they have 1, 2, 3... They have 4 guys on injured reserve. Mm-hmm. Not long-term injured reserve, because that would give them cap relief, but they don't need that, so they just put them on injured reserve.
They haven't. I don't think they've ever used LTIR. Anyway,
it's a shell company.
Continue.
Who makes more, the forwards or the 14 forwards or the 4 players on injured reserve?
Oh, it's got to be the 4 players on injured reserve. It's got to be.
So it's not quite.
Oh,
the 14 forwards add up to $30.8 million.
That's as much as it costs to have Marner, Nylander, Matthews, and Willie.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, did I say Willie? Tavares? Yeah.
Tavares. Yeah. Those 3 players make more combined than the entire forward core of the Arizona Coyotes. Yep.
And you still think Austin wants to go to Arizona, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. He's dying. And the 4 players on injured reserve, 26.9. 26 point. It's 3.1 or whatever. It's barely a difference. Now, if you add dead cap, because they have a little bit of dead cap in retained salary, they have $450,000 for Nick Bjugstad, $990,000, so let's say $1 million for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and $2.625 million retained for Patrick Kane. If you add those up, does it become more than the 14 forwards?
I don't know. Guess
it's about the same.
What's the total?
It's a shell company.
It does. It's 3.8. 26. Yeah, you pass it.
So the the 7 players not playing for the Arizona Coyotes make more than the 14 forwards who are.
Yeah.
It's a shell company. It's
good tax write-off. It is. It's a great tax write-off. So owning a pro sports franchise is a great write-off.
Yeah. I mean, you could donate to a charity, or you could just own the Arizona Coyotes. It's a joke. It's a joke.
And here's the thing: the problem I personally have is when we talk about teams exceeding the cap in real dollars, right? Everybody seemed to have a problem with that. Or Montreal fans tried to make it a problem. And then Kucherov wore that T-shirt and it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. I don't care because I think the cap's stupid.
The Habs are going to have a payroll of like $150 million when they make the playoffs.
100%. They've already got close to $100 million right now in real dollars. I don't care because to me, the cap the cap is stupid. It's a fundamentally flawed system that doesn't actually help small market teams. And if you actually look at the math and look at the numbers and do some research, you will see that. It's clear as day. The revenue share model is bullshit. It's broken. It sucks. Here's where I hate it. I told you that you should be equally mad if a team goes over. If you're mad about that, you should also be mad at a team that's under. I think you should be more mad at the team that's under.
You know what? I think you're right.
And I think the reason for that should be obvious, which is the teams that are going over are trying to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The teams that are listen, guys, we all saw what the Coyotes did at the deadline this year. And you can say, well, they're rebuilding for the future. And I'd say, what about the previous 9 years? What about what has happened since they went to the conference finals?
By the time, let's say they get Connor Bedard.
Right.
They won't even be in their new building by the time his ELC's up.
Yeah, no.
Well, they're telling you they will.
He's not even in the league yet.
They've lost. I think they were expecting to break ground sooner than this too. That's my understanding. And they were supposed to be in this 3 years. How long? It takes minimum 2 seasons to build an arena.
Minimum. No disrespect to what some of the players are accomplishing, like Clayton Keller's.
Oh, no question.
But
and listen, no disrespect to the fans that go.
Yeah,
it's a shame their games count.
Well, and
it's 82 exhibitions.
They're
not an NHL.
I still haven't heard anything definitive because you got to remember part of those salary cap is based on HRR, hockey related revenue. So when you hear somebody say, "Oh, well, we got to look into the HRR," that's what it is. And it's supposed to be an even split between the players and ownership. What I have not seen is the Coyotes were always going to lose money this year. And
no matter how hard they tried.
Yes. And the contributions they were going to give, had they been in, what was the previous one? It wasn't Glendale, was it? No, the previous one was...
It was Glendale, wasn't it?
No, it was...
Who cares?
The previous...
In Gila River?
Gila River.
Yeah.
I knew it was an H. Had they been in Gila River, the potential was there for them to contribute more money to HRR. If I am the head of the NHLPA, my first question is, how are we including them when they, out of their own stupidity, bumped themselves out of their own arena, and their contribution will therefore have to be less than otherwise?
It's a charity franchise.
Well, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Because the players are going to make less money because the owner didn't pay his taxes on time and got booted from the arena.
Yeah, and just for clarity, that was Gila River Arena. That's the name of the arena. It was in Glendale.
It was in Glendale.
It was in Glendale, yeah. Sorry. It's not even called that anymore. It's the Desert Diamond Arena.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And literally, can you imagine how bad things have to be?
There now?
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Jeff Dunham? What the fuck? Anyway.
How bad do things have to be that a hockey arena in the middle of the desert kicks out an NHL franchise? Think about that. No one's made anything of that. No one wants to say that because it's like, oh, it's you're punching down. I'm not insulting Coyotes fans.
I've always an NHL team. No one
punching down.
It has never.
That's how it's been framed to me.
Never been about the fans. You're making up an argument. Fucking stop. Fucking stop.
What's it about, Steve?
The team is not trying. Even when they're trying to win, they won't be trying to make money. You get Connor Bedard. Listen, it's a business. Mm-hmm. Just like Rudy Gobert said. Okay, in that very long quote that I read unnecessarily. All right. When are they going to
regrets about that?
Yeah, a little. As I was reading it, I'm like, this is longer than I thought.
And then did you touch every mic on your way out too?
I did, yeah. Yeah, great memories, Rudy. Thank you for that. When are they going to participate in the business model?
Well, because they're not right now. And that's what I would want. Why did no one ask Marty Walsh that? Why is no one asking this question? This is a big question. The hockey-related revenues are going to be less because the Coyotes are not in an NHL arena.
No, Adam. Well, the argument is they'll actually lose less money in this building because of fart and puke and fart. Dude, you don't get a team. Here's the prerequisite is you need a minimum of 15,000 seats in your building or fuck off. You're not an NHL club. It doesn't need to be that it's not an NHL city. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, Tempe is not an NHL city. You know how I know that? They don't have a building! Yeah, but they will have one. Great! We'll put them there when it's built. In the meantime, the Coyotes can go to some other far more viable market, and you can get an expansion team like everyone else.
And pay the fee.
And I want you to pay the fee because it goes to the business model. They're trying to make money. They're trying. That's how the league survives. That jersey you get and you go, yeah. Every time you show up to a game, it's because the team is trying to make money.
It's HRR, baby.
Yeah, and when they do a good job of it, the team in theory gets better. More opportunities for you to go, and they make cool shit that you buy because you're happy with the team, and they make more money. This is the system. This is the ecosystem, and the Coyotes are not participating in it. They're a novelty. Hey, let's go to a fucking Radio Shack and watch an NHL game. Dude, I've done that. It's called the preseason every year. You can go watch the Leafs play some random team, and you're like, wow, Patrick Marleau's in Ricoh Coliseum. That's fucking silly. Every year it happens, and it's a fun atmosphere, and we talk about why don't they do this more often, and then you go to an actual NHL building, and you go, oh, that's why.
Have you ever heard there's like this is true for whether you're a kindergarten teacher and your kids are out on a walk or you're an army marching across the desert. You go as fast as your slowest participant because you can't leave anybody behind. Mm-hmm. Same is true in business. You go as fast as your slowest asset. And in this particular case, the Coyotes have been a drag on the NHL. But what's interesting is that every time Gary Bettman jumps in and saves them. And the reason he has to do that is because Gary's the one that chooses who gets to buy them. Every single time the ownership has changed, Gary has been like, you know what? I think these are the guys. And when they fail, he goes, hold on, let's have the league purchase the team. We'll get a new owner in. They'll be much better, and I'll decide.
How wasn't that the end of it?
And then he jumps in and he goes, well, we got to save these owners. Let's get these guys. And what does it go back to? Steve, what did you say about every proposal?
It's good because it's fantasy.
Right.
And
because all of these
no
guys,
practice yet.
All of the people that have owned this team came in with great proposals. Where are we at? And the reason Gary jumps in and saves them every time, if you're wondering, is because he put them there and he put the ownership groups there. All of them. Mm-hmm. Starting from when they left Winnipeg. This is his reputation, right?
Why'd they leave Winnipeg?
They weren't making money, Steve. It wasn't because people weren't going, though. People were going.
Wouldn't make money.
Anyway, moving on to Marty Walsh. He one of the big quotes that come out of this is a pretty weak-willed quote, but one that you would expect from the new head of the NHLPA, who is representing the interests of all the players. And this has to do with the Pride jerseys. And so this kind of, to me, this sort of kicks off a tenure of what I think the players want. And I believe everybody's sort of, I think this is not, I don't know about this administration. I'll put it that way. He starts off with, the LGBTQ community shouldn't feel hockey players are turning their back on them when they don't wear the jerseys. If a player doesn't want to wear the jersey in warm-up, they shouldn't be forced to. And he said that, somebody said well, what about if the player misses warm-up, they shouldn't be able to play, which is something that we talked about with Provorov. And he said, no, I don't think that should be the case at all.
Why?
Nobody followed up.
Can you read the second sentence?
If a player doesn't wear or doesn't want to wear a Pride jersey in warm-up, they shouldn't be forced to.
Yeah, fine. Can you read the first one?
The LGBTQ community shouldn't feel hockey players are turning their backs on them.
Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, you shouldn't be telling people how to feel.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Do that for another group there, Marty. See how that goes. Try that.
You shouldn't feel any sting.
Don't hit me.
Why'd you hit me?
Because I hit you.
I got the point.
And then I told you how to feel about it.
I understand you.
Sorry, I love you. I didn't hit you that hard, though. Did I?
No. I think that was.
You can hit me back. Do you want to hit me back?
No.
Okay.
Adam,
all right.
What's?
I'm sorry. Listen.
No.
You got to remember that we're still in grade 1 all over here.
It's true. No, that is not. That's not for him to say.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, I suppose you can think it, but You can't. That's not for you to say. The LGBT community, who I've clearly spoken to exactly 0 members of, this is how they should feel based on.
It's a tough quote,
Marty, and it's the first one.
That was the first one.
It's a longer answer, but that's how he starts. And you read most of it, and most of the answer, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really surprised by any of the contents here. You can't start with that. It's simply not for you to say.
Yeah, it was a much longer answer, and he gets back to the plot in like the middle of it.
Yes,
but
he's a politician, and I'm cutting out the shit that doesn't matter.
Right, those first 2 lines are rough.
Well, you know what though? It's as a politician though. I mean, if you make a soundbite that bad to start, everything you say after that gets lost.
Well, I think there's probably. Well, I'll leave it. The players, when they were going through the selection process, could have gone with many different candidates, and
some of them not even in the pocket of Jeremy Jacobs.
He does talk about that.
Oh, cool.
So we'll get to that.
I'm glad someone asked him.
Yes,
about that very obvious conflict of interest
that he says is not. But we'll talk about that in a second. During the selection process, the players had a lot of potential people that could have been, the head, and they were speculated about. And I don't need to go through the list, but it came down to what type of leader do you want to have, right? Where do we want to go as an organization? And the players have decided, and they kind of said from the outset, we want a guy who's not going to disrupt the apple cart. We want a guy who's not going to lead us to labor disruption. That was how the players set out.
Well, I don't want that.
Well, nobody does. No, listen, our entire business is based on them playing. We need them to play.
Games existing.
Yes. But I will say this. If that was the player's goal, then you need somebody who's not going to work with Bettman. You need somebody who's going to beat him. Because the last 3 labor disruptions, which have been half a season, a full season, and then another half season, have been lockouts. Who's the lockout called by?
Gary.
Right.
Yeah.
And what the players want is, and so here's what he said. He said, we're in business when talking about, avoiding labor disruption or whatever. He's like, we're in business together as in the NHL and the NHLPA, but I represent the players. If you don't have the players, you don't have the NHL. That's what's important to understand. That's why it's important to understand and respect them.
Okay.
And that's what Gary will say. Okay, I'm going to do what I want then.
Yeah. I'll lock you out like I've done the last 3 times. Goodbye.
You know what I bet is the next to go? The 50-50 revenue split.
Yeah?
I would put money on it. It's going to be 60-40 in a heartbeat.
For the owners?
For the owners. Absolutely. It's gone. It's gone.
What if this is their only option because anyone who could beat Bettman is above the NHLPA's pay grade?
I'm going to leave it at that.
If you're particularly good at this sort of thing, you have far more options better than the NHL. You should probably get 32 teams who are trying to make money.
He said the first thing he brought up to the NHL's executive board was the political donations from Bruins owner Jeremy Jacobs, who's the chairman of the board of governors for the NHL, guys. He's not just an owner. And Pittsburgh owner John Henry, who also apparently gave to his campaigns. I didn't know that.
Pittsburgh owner.
Yeah, John Henry, the new Pittsburgh owner.
Oh.
The Fenway Sports Group,
yeah.
I believe he's a part of.
Yes.
So wait, 2 different owners gave election money to Marty Walsh, who's the new head of the NHLPA?
Yes.
Okay.
Elliot Friedman said this in 32 Thoughts. There was a split on the topic, but some agents and ex-players feel strongly that because of the union's history, any conflict of interest is extremely concerning. Here's the quote from Marty Walsh. In my career, I've raised millions and millions and millions of dollars, and the money that was raised by those 2 organizations or those individuals in those organizations is not even 1% of what I raised over my time. No one can accuse me of using political donations as a way to give back favors. I'm not going to be swayed by a political contribution that happened 7 years ago. Those are good things to have, relationships. Doesn't mean I'm going to jeopardize my job representing hockey players. So here's what here's what I find hard to swallow about a quote like that. no one can accuse me of using political donations as a way to give back favors. I'm not going to be swayed by a political contribution from 7 years ago. The whole point of political donations on that level is for favors. That is the point. We want you to be elected because we believe you're the guy that will best represent our interests. So we're not only going to vote for you, we're going to pay for you. That's next level voting. That's voting with your wallet.
I think it's a little bit of a leap for us to be like, hey, he got a political donation 7 years ago, and it's going to affect the way he's going to run the NHLPA, and he's going to like treat Jeremy and John Henry a little better because they donated to him a long time ago.
It's an assumption.
Yeah.
It's an assumption. Is it not a red flag?
Not that much.
No?
It's a job ago and nearly a decade ago.
A job ago?
Yeah.
And he just lost his number after the donation.
No, I think it's fair to say like they're clearly maybe they're friendly. I don't know their relationships, obviously, but they're probably
the players want friendly. That's what they want.
Okay,
and here's what I'm going to tell you: Gary ain't playing friendly, guys.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But Jesse, continue. I agree with you. I don't think it's wrong, but
because I think if somebody's putting those assumptions on you, if I'm just thinking about if I'm in Marty Walsh's position, and let's say I'm actually honest, like he's on the level, he's not going to do any favors. I'd be like, that's kind of unfair for you to make that giant leap. You know, I'd be like, I'm an honest guy. I got political donations for them, and I had no relation to hockey at the time. And now that I'm in the sport, you're bringing that up, and I'm like, but no, I'm going to be objective here.
I have a question. One of the more famous unions in our area is obviously the union that represents auto workers, right? There are GM plants, Ford plants, that sort of thing in and around Southern Ontario. Steve, there was, the huge GM history in Oshawa. GM used to be the logo of the literal generals. It's crazy.
Yes. Let's talk about changing the team name.
Wow, yeah, because it was based on the General Motors, right?
Well, then the GM Center where they played is no longer called that.
Right. So if somebody ran for office and they received a political donation from General Motors, how likely do you think it would be that the union representing GM workers would elect that person to head them up? How likely do you think it would be? Because this is exactly what that is. If General Motors bankrolled your political campaign or part of it, how likely are you, the worker who works for local 2468 whatever it is, to then have that person represent you against General Motors?
Here's the problem that I have with it, right?
Yeah.
We are assuming that he'd be swayed by that sort of thing. Hehowever, I think
you're questioning his integrity.
Yeah.
I think it's a distraction.
I mean, he's a politician, so yes.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't care what party. He's a politician, so yes.
Can't trust any of them.
Politician, you definitely question your integrity immediately. But I wonder, do John Henry and Jeremy Jacobs make the same assumptions we do? I bet the answer is yes.
In that
he will be nicer to them than he otherwise would have been. I think that was their assumption when they made those donations, and I think that's the assumption today.
And I also think the players want that. The players clearly want that. They want a guy who's not going to ruffle feathers. Like, let's just make a deal. Kumbaya, baby.
Maybe he is the pre-fire Harvey Dent, where he goes, I don't care what money you gave me to get elected. I'm going to clean up Gotham.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And
I hope that's the case. For the players.
Maybe that's what he is. All I'm saying is it is absolutely a red flag.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the one in a million, right? Like he's the honest politician, and raising money is also, it's not inherently bad or corrupt. You need to raise money to have a political career. It's an ugly part of the business.
And I feel like we're placing a lot on that right now and making a lot of assumptions from a guy receiving a couple donations 7 years ago.
Would you not say that there's a lot riding on this for the players, and that's why it's so perplexing that they would go this direction?
Yeah, I think
it's a distraction. We're talking about it.
Sure.
If I'm getting a new labor leader, I want a guy who doesn't have that.
Here's his chance. He's got an opportunity here to prove any naysayer or anyone who says that's a red flag, tut tut, like me. He has an opportunity here to prove us wrong.
Yeah,
I hope he does. Like, I hope he is getting set on fire Harvey Dent.
Yeah. And Jesse, by the way, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think it's a conversation we got to have.
Oh, sure. We can have any conversation.
Yeah, I think it's.
We would have a show.
I mean, are we just gonna we can't gloss over the fact that was a major part of his press conference yesterday too, is people were asking about it.
There's 800 or so members of the NHLPA, and I'd be curious to know what % of those 800 players are like, he got donations from who after he was hired.
Oh, because they're not involved.
They're not involved.
Yeah. Agreed. The other thing was, and this just makes me laugh. So Frage's second point on 32 Thoughts. A few sources among both teams and agents have indicated they believe there's a deal to be made that could increase the cap to over $2 million without affecting players' escrow number. Their estimates are based on what they've heard revenues are and will be. The NHL and PA can agree to raise the cap more than $1 million, even if all the debt isn't yet paid. Has this been presented to Walsh? Walsh says, no, it hasn't been presented to me, but it sounds good. He said, when the time is right, we'll have those conversations. By the way, I don't know why there needs to be a deal here.
Yeah, I've never understood that.
Both sides want it. The owners want it.
There's a collective bargaining agreement, but every year there's a negotiation on the cap.
It should be laid out. Here's what it is.
How much is it rumored the cap is going up? There is a formula to this. How much do you think the cap is going up by? Cut that number in half, dock $250,000. That's what it's going up by. $2 million?
That's what remember at the beginning of the season, they thought it was closer to $4.
$750 million. Or $7. Wow, that'd be great.
Whoa.
Fucking let's go Leafs. They bought the Oilers. No, so $750,000. There's my new bet.
Damn. We're only a Zach Aston Reese away. It's crazy.
He makes a little more than that.
Does he? Okay. All right, so there's that. And then he said, and I like this. I got to weigh the positives and the negatives here. Not sure about some things, but he did say one of the focuses is going to be getting a World Cup of Hockey regularly back on track.
Yeah.
And I love hearing that.
Yeah. Good luck.
Well, there's a deal to be made, maybe.
No, but like, that's not news. The players always wanted that. It's the NHL who didn't. So we're not going to get it until he proves otherwise. I guess the problem here is, I guess what I would say, maybe the reason I'm being so unfair and cantankerous to Marty Walsh and the NHLPA is I have no reason to have faith in them.
If they had a great track record.
Yeah, like, you're supposed to head into every situation 50-50 with rose-colored glasses on and go, maybe this will work out. But they've given me absolutely no reason to think that. So this is a defense mechanism developed by the human brain, and I am deploying it. Avoid getting hurt. Activate. That's all.
Jesse, how do you think this works out?
I don't know. I honestly hope we don't have a lockout. That would be awesome. When is the CBA set to expire? Because they extended the year
25-26
because of so we're quite
After
a ways away.
Yeah.
There's a good runway here for Marty Walsh to develop his relationship with the players, because he said a number of times that he hasn't had conversations with a lot of the guys yet, so he doesn't know how they feel. He's spoken to Connor McDavid. He hasn't spoken to Sidney Crosby, so he's like making his way through the league to talk with all the guys and see how they feel.
I can see that.
And there's a long runway here for us to find out what kind of leader Marty Walsh will be. And I hope it ends in we have a deal for a collective bargaining agreement that lasts for forever, hopefully. And we get hockey.
Now, here's the question. It's interesting that he's already spoken to Connor McDavid. The players, I've noticed, well, Crosby has, but they haven't spoken supposedly. They've been a little more vocal recently. It's just been seeded stuff. I wonder if that's him. Are those his fingerprints on the players already? Because, like, I mean, who's your number one target for players you got to speak to the second you get that job? Probably McDavid.
Yeah.
Crosby's got to be high up there, but if you don't have McDavid, you don't have anybody. Honestly, I'd probably go McDavid Matthews. Because you have the top young Canadian player and probably the top young American player.
Sure.
And with those two, I can rule them all. But at minimum, I have to get McDavid involved.
Biggest star in the biggest market.
And I gotta give him a mandate. I gotta give him the gospel according to Marty Walsh in the NHLPA, and he's got to preach it to all the members. So maybe after I was not so nice to Marty Walsh, maybe that is a sign that things are going well. Because, I think the number one problem with the PA is the stars don't care.
Well,
they don't care and they're not involved.
With under Don Fear, they didn't hear from him.
There was
no communication. That's been widely reported.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was time for Fear to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So that, I at least wanted to bring up both sides of that, because I do think... Do I think this is a well-meaning person? Sure. I want to see what he's able to do. And I've got questions. And I think that's fair.
I don't have an opinion on him. Show me.
Okay. Do you want to do a press conference?
Sure.
Let's do it. We have another one.
A couple questions.
First one in the new stew.
Let me see what this does.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, that didn't work.
Jesse's hotkeys aren't working. Oh, how embarrassing.
Oh, no. I guess I can't play. Oh, let me go this way.
So
suck.
Embarrassing. There it is.
No,
that's the extra. No.
The presser.
Oh my God! Oh, just pull it down.
The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Cool. All right, what questions do we have, Jesse?
Let me fire up Discord. Let me get the questions.
Weenie in the butt. In the morning. In the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you got to sign into Discord with your code, sir. With your code.
You're bad at this.
Yeah. What's up with this? What'd you do? Build a whole studio? What's your problem?
I just don't want to get in the Discord logo spinning death here, where he just. Oh, okay, it started. Good.
Did I see an app for a torrent? Are you a thief? Do you?
What app for a torrent? Don't distract me.
I thought
He's got questions asked, Steve. Don't ask him how he sails to 7 Seas.
Are you a pirate?
Please?
Oh my goodness.
Where did you see an app for it? There's none of that.
That's how he's good.
Are you up to swashbuckling mischief?
Who would you have?
Whatever that means.
I don't know why they paired up these guys, but I think it's fun. Who would you rather have on your team? No salary cap concerns. This is from Random Canadian. Pasta or Tkachuk? Tage or Jason Robertson? Kirill or Panarin? McKinnon or Kucherov? Or Ottinger or Hellebuck?
So are they paired?
Yeah, you get both. Oh, no, you get one or the other. You get one or the other.
Okay.
So let's go through
Start with the first one.
Yeah. Pasta or Tkachuk?
Tkachuk.
Pasta.
I know Pasta's great, but I just like Tkachuk's mean.
Yeah.
He's mean.
100 points, too.
Tage or Jason Robertson?
It can't be both. Can't be both?
Tage gets the tiebreaker because he's a center.
Jason, because his brother plays for the Leafs.
Damn.
Not for long. Kirill or Panarin?
Kirill Kaprizov.
Kirill.
Panarin's an extremely good player.
No, you hate him.
But
why?
Kirill
justifying it.
Dominant player.
No, justifying it.
McKinnon or Kucherov?
Oh, man.
I've got my mean, so I want McKinnon. My mean is Tkachuk.
I think these are all independent of each other.
Oh.
I don't think you get to...
I thought it was that we were building a team.
Oh, yeah, I guess we could look at it that way.
That's how I was looking at it.
You know what? It's not 2019 McKinnon. He's better.
That's the correct answer.
Wow.
It's not even close.
There you go.
Producer Drew, you hear that? It's not even close. McKinnon. Ottinger or Hellebuck?
Ottinger.
Hellebuck. Hellebuck. Because he's been there. So is Ottinger.
Because he's just as good and younger.
No. I want to win now, though. I want to win now. What else we got, Jess?
All right, we can end it on that note.
You want to end it on that note? No. Don't end it on that note, please.
By
the way, that audio... Play that again. Play that again. No, you never heard of the fade down, huh?
No.
That's terrible. What a bad audio bite.
Let's try this one.
Wait, here, what's he asking for? Yes! I pushed the button.
Oh,
That's all I wanted to do.
the round of applause now loops. That's it for us, folks.
Okay, can we just play it out?
Can you do Looney Tunes? Like, that's all, folks.
Abadee, that's all, folks. We can play the extra.
Now they're all playing.
The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
What is happening right now? You guys, this remix sucks. Get me off this boat. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. We love you. Are we done yet? Are we done?
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.